Hi guys, and welcome to All About the Philippines, Dating a Filipina course, part 10, which I believe is a very critical part of dating a Filipina. But before we do that, if you have enjoyed the All About the Philippines, Dating a Filipina course to this point, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to get all our videos. You can find the entire series of the Dating a Filipina course in the playlist on my YouTube channel, simply called Dating a Filipina course, and there'll be episodes 1 through 15 sitting in there for you to go through one by one at your own leisure. So guys, if you want to know why I believe this part of the Dating a Filipina course is critical, then stay tuned. So guys, at this point you've learnt a lot about pre-dating a Filipina through to dating a Filipina, and you should have a pretty good idea if this Filipina is the one that you want to be with now for the rest of your life. And for some guys, they might be thinking that they're really still a bit unsure, but they want to see how the relationship goes going forward, and they may not be in any hurry to move things along at a certain pace. So for those guys, then that's fine to go back again to the Philippines and have another visit at a later time before you decide you ultimately want to bring her here, if that's the case. Or you may decide that she's not the one for you and you might call it quits. But for those guys who at this point have decided, yes, this is the woman I want to be with, then we move forward from here. So at this point, we can recap and look at the information and the tips that you've learned along the way through the Dating a Filipina course. Initially, you looked at yourself to make sure that you were in a good headspace to start looking and dating a Filipina. You've checked your finances and you realize, yes, this is doable. All the finances that I need are available, or I'll be able to get them along the way. You've looked at the type of Filipina you are searching for, so you know that very clearly in your mind. You've got information on the different love scams in the Philippines, and you now know how to identify the red flags so you don't get scammed from a Filipina, and so you find a good Filipina. We took a look at understanding Filipino culture, especially around family and your Filipina, so you can understand why she might do things that you don't typically understand. So that will give you a better chance of success in your relationship. And you've also had a look at how to find your Filipina, whether it's online or in person, and you've got a clear idea of that. You've learnt how to communicate online, which is a very important part of a long distance relationship when you're not together. And you've also been looking at how to plan your first visit to the Philippines, which I recommend be a shorter one. And the last episode, we looked at cementing that relationship in that second longer visit to the Philippines. So now you've come home from that second visit, and it's a really good time to reflect on everything you've learnt and everything you've been through with the Filipina while you're there. You'll have a really good idea about her, but now is time when you're away from her and the emotions are out of play, and you can sit back and you can rationally think about things and use your own good common sense whether or not this relationship is for you and whether it's going to work long term. And remember, by this time, you've spent probably 6 to 12 months dating this Filipina from when you first met her through till now. So you've learned a lot from her, from your chats online and in person, and you really now should be able to trust that you know enough about dating a Filipina to make that good decision whether or not she's right for you. Now, if you've sat back and you've decided, no, I'm really keen on her, I really like this girl, and things are going to go forward from there, then you really got to start to think about her in this relationship. Quite often people will only think of things from their own point of view. Now, you got to remember, you're probably getting a girl that's maybe inexperienced in life. She may not have been out of her own country, probably not even out of her own area she lives in, or she might have gone into the city from her province, but that might be as far as she's ever gone. So she's really inexperienced in life. And if she is to come to your country, for example, and make that big move, then this is something that's very new to her, and she's moving away from her family. She's moving away from her friends. She might even be going away from her children, whether that be for a few years or in some cases permanently. And she might be giving up her job that she's had for many years and she really likes. So she's got a lot to lose in this. And I put it to you that she's probably got more to lose out of this than what you do. Because if you imagine that she does come to your country, for example, and things don't work out, then she has to go back to the Philippines and she's really got to start from scratch. She might be back at home with her parents looking for a new job, and really in a very bad emotional way because the relationship didn't work out and all her dreams have been shattered. And all of a sudden now she's back in the Philippines wondering how she's going to get on with things again. Now, I can hear some of you now might be saying, well, that's the risk you take in any relationship. And that's very true. But when you're dating someone from the Philippines and it breaks down, she doesn't have all the services around her like you would in the Western countries to help her get back on her feet and get back into employment and all that sort of thing. It can be a much harder task for her in the Philippines than it would be in your country if you had to start again. And of course, this is more so if she's a young Filipina in her 20s. So you've really got to give a lot of consideration from her point of view. What is she giving up to come to your country with you in the future? And do you honestly believe that this is the one for you and you can make it work long term? And if you can honestly say to yourself, after you've had a really good think on this, I'm not talking about a think about it for an hour or so, I'm talking about several days thinking about it, and if you still feel as strongly for this girl, then we go forward where we have a look in the next episode around getting a CENOMAR, which is a certificate of no marriage, and getting your girlfriend on board with that prior to moving any further in the relationship, where I'm talking about when you might bring her to your country. So that'll be the next episode when we talk about why it's important to get a CENOMAR for your Filipina girlfriend. So guys, if you've enjoyed the video, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to share the video around with all your networks. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on the notification bell to get more videos. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate all your support. Take care and bye for now.